So in 2024, there are some major changes happening to the multi-tool world, and the Leatherman P2, the Leatherman P4 seem to have sort of disappeared. They've been out of stock for a very long time on Leatherman's website. Some people say they're coming back. A lot of people say they aren't. And then just recently, the Gerber MP400 and also the Gerber Diesel have completely disappeared from Gerber's website that I can see. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I don't see them anywhere. So what is happening? Who knows? It's anyone's guess at this moment. So I thought that this would be a perfect time to sort of go back and talk about the issue. What made Tim Leatherman's company so great to begin with? Well, I think for that answer, we have to go back to 1983, and we find the PST comes out. And why is it so fantastic? I think the first principle is that Tim Leatherman made the first tool an icon, not a test run. And that is a huge, huge bonus for Leatherman. So when the Leatherman PST comes out, again, I've seen some pictures of the original tool. It looked, again, a lot rougher than this. But when the PST comes out, it essentially remains to some extent unchanged until this day. So again, you've got the knife, you've got the file, you've got the screwdrivers, the can opener. It has a lot of the basic tool set that a lot of people wanted. And to this day, you can essentially get a PST. It's called the Leatherman Bond now, but it has a lot of those same similar tool sets. Yeah, things have changed. Now, the original comes with a Phillips screwdriver. I just put the bit driver in there because it works. And I always like to mod my tools. But anyway, so, you know, it still comes with a lot of that essential, very lightweight tool set. And the Bond is a fantastic tool for those essentially around the world, again, because it's not locking, and neither was the original PST. So both of these are really great tools, and Tim Leatherman made them just fantastic. Now, 3 years later, so for 3 years, the PST is the only thing essentially carrying the Leatherman company. And then the mini tool comes out, and the mini tool was very similar to the PST in size, only slightly smaller. When you extend the handles, again, it's about the exact same size. The plier tool is a little bit smaller, but the genius of this was that you could collapse these tool handles to make them very minimal. So you got a knife, you did get a file screwdriver, you got a can opener and a bottle cap lifter on the other side of this tool set. And then you can collapse these handles and you have a very minimalist tool set indeed. Very, very small. And again, just a genius idea. And I'm not sure if it would quite work today. I think that's why it's not out here. Again, not made anymore because it might need refined a little bit, but I do think that same idea to some extent lives today in the skeletal, the Leatherman skeletal. So here again, we have a set of pliers, we've got our knife, we've got our screwdriver, bit driver, and then you can also get aftermarket adaptions on the bottom right here, but again, a very minimalist tool set. And again, bigger than the Mini, but I think for a lot of people, again, the idea of that minimalist tool set still lives. So with the Mini, I think Tim Leatherman, the principle driving this was always give the market or fill the market with something consumers didn't know they wanted, but when it comes out, they definitely want once it exists. So I think that's basically the principle behind this, is continually innovate and continually give people something they didn't know they needed, fill those gaps. And Tim Leatherman definitely did that with the Mini. So the PST was revolutionary enough, but then when the Mini comes out, I mean, man, that's even a lot smaller tool set. Pretty cool. And then the third tool that comes out a lot later, actually not until 94. So 11 years later, the Super Tool comes out. And this one, it fills that heavy duty market tool gap. And this is pretty much unlike any other tool that's been released. A lot of the tools at Tim Leatherman's time, again, were very very minimalist. And this one is much more of a full pocket toolbox. So very cool design. And this comes out right here, the Super Tool in '94. Very fantastic tool. So these right here, again, sort of give the idea of the first three tools that Tim Leatherman sort of storms the market with. And I think with the Super Tool, the thing that sticks out to me is that Tim Leatherman was always leading the pack. He wasn't just staying up with it, but he was leading the pack. And to some extent, the Leatherman arc, that's what they're trying to do today. A lot of us have some different ideas about if they're going in the right direction or not, but Leatherman to this day is still trying to lead, definitely. And I think we see that happening, especially compared to like Gerber and SOG. Leatherman is a lot more innovative at this time, although Gerber is coming out with some very unique tools. So again, to this day, we still have the Surge. We still have the Leatherman Super Tool 300. So not a huge amount has changed. There's still a lot of these three basic categories. You know, we've got the Bond, again, like the PST right here. And then we've got the skeletal and then the heavy duty segment. So let's take a very, very quick look at SOG and Gerber. So just to give the time frame, so SOG, everything happens for SOG around '91. So again, these dates come from the multi-tool timeline, the wiki timeline. So SOG comes out with the original tool clip, '91. They come out with the micro version in '91 that just has a couple tools right here. So sort of a unique tool set right here. Screwdriver on the bottom of this handle right here. And then the tool clip comes out with, this will be a very reminiscent of some of the models of the time right here. So it has only a couple tools and then this Phillips driver right here as well. And again, it has this flat screwdriver almost at the bottom, but the tool clip comes out, and then the Paratool. And the Paratool has been a staple at SOG for years and years, only recently discontinued. It does have a very minimalist tool set right here as well. So SOG takes a different route. A lot of their tools will be lighter duty than Leatherman, and that seems to be by design. They are aiming for a lot of the light carry multi-tool market. So when it comes to Gerber, one of the first three tools they actually come out with is the Gerber multiplier, which actually has the Siemens file. So from another company, a US made file, and also the MPT. As the story goes, the MPT actually fights against the Leatherman PST for the US Marine first multi-tool and actually wins because you got it, it's cheaper. And so those are some of the first two tools Gerber comes out with. Then they actually have the MP600 in '98, which is essentially just an upgraded multiplier. And then they have the Multi-Light. The Multi-Light is sort of where the armbar starts, sort of gets its origin from. It's got a lot of little tools and a lot smaller frame, and Gerber seems to keep that fascination with smaller tools to the present day. Now, when we talk about Gerber, where are they at today in the form of these three categories: ultra small, small, and super duty? So I think the Crucial, the NXT, and the Center Drive, you could argue sort of fulfill those categories. When we talk about SOG, where is their ultra small? Well, I think we could talk about the Power Pint, and we could also talk about the Power Access and then the Power Access Assist. So these are sort of maybe their three that are their modern interpretations. Now, when we talk about Next Tool, that's where I get a little confused because I'm not sure where their three are. Pulled out a couple that might sort of fit. The brand new W2 has that plier, which is sort of cool. Pretty small frame size as well. We have the Black Knight, we have the Flagship Pro, and then we also have the Next Tool Captain. So somewhere in between here, we've got some categories, but they're not near as distinct as Leatherman, Gerber, and SOG are at this time. And then when we talk about Roxon, again, we have a bunch of different tools. We've got the Phantom, which is pretty much their largest tool at this time, or one of their heaviest tools. We've got the Flex, which is not even out yet. This is a pre-production model, and their M1, which is very similar to the Power Pint or the Leatherman Mini. But again, it's a little different. This is more like a wave copy than a PST. So I'm not sure if they have that same lineup. They're doing things a little different, and I wish their Phantom was a little bit more general. It's a little bit more specific because it has this frame where you can take out in more of a modular system, as is the Flex as well. And so you don't get that same more general heavy-duty tool, which is a little bit unfortunate. I would like to see Nextool and Roxon work on that as well. Well, let me know your thoughts. What do you think about this 3-step system that Tim Leatherman came out with, where you've sort of got the ultra small and then the lightweight and then the super heavy duty? Interesting to see where the first 3 multi-tools started out and where Leatherman is even today.